Your sales team is not the problem. It's the hidden friction that's slowing you down. Hi, I'm Dr. Noah St. John, and in today's video, I'm going to show you why your sales team is not the reason that your company is not growing at the level or the speed that you want. In fact, the real reason is the hidden friction that's slowing you down. Why? Because every business problem you're facing right now is a friction problem. That's why you need a zero friction solution. All right, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's look at the 5 elements of a clogged funnel, identifying the hidden friction that's holding you back right now. The first hidden friction is called slow decisions. That means weeks of delay in approvals and deal progress slow down the sales process significantly. Number 2, confused messaging. That means your buyers are receiving mixed signals that reduce your conversion rates and create uncertainty. Number 3, too many meetings. Can you relate? Excessive meetings crowd out real selling time, limiting productive engagement. Number 4, broken handoffs. What does that mean? It means leads are dropped or mishandled between teams, causing lost opportunities. And number 5, systemic friction. That means internal friction issues, not your sales reps, are blocking leads from converting to revenue. All right, so those are the 5 elements of a clogged funnel. Do you have any of these? Can you relate? Type a comment in the chat and let me know, can you relate to any of these 5? All right, so next, let's look at a case study, one of my clients, and the real world impact of reducing friction. Now, his initial assumption, the CEO's initial assumption, he believed that more closers were needed due to a thin pipeline and low productivity. So he was going to bring on more closers. Well, what does more closers mean? Closers are great, you need them, but it means more expense, more training, time lost, and so forth. So that was his assumption. So what I did was I tested his assumptions. It's always important to test your assumptions. Now, his marketing was creating interest. There was interest, but the messaging was bland and ineffective, reducing the lead quality. That means their reps were chasing bad fit leads. They were wasting up to 40% of their time pursuing leads that were not a good fit. Also, internal approval delays were delayed up to 6 weeks due to slow internal approval processes. All of this friction was brought to light with my zero friction profit scan, which I'll talk about in just a moment. All right, so all of this was hidden to the CEO. That's why he was making those assumptions, but those assumptions turned out to be not true. So what did we do? Well, I showed him how to remove the friction. I helped him remove the internal friction, and just by removing the internal friction, that boosted his company's revenue by over $2.7 million in just 18 months. So picture being able to add almost $3 million in less than 18 months just by identifying and removing the friction in your organization. So what's the key lesson learned? The real problem was process friction, not the sales team. And so the initial assumption proved to be not true, but we were able to add almost $3 million in a very short amount of time just by identifying and removing the friction. All right, so now let's look at understanding sales friction. What does this really mean? Let's look at the emerging trends for CEOs. Number 1, recognize friction as a hidden sales barrier because sales friction is now identified as the critical and visible obstacle that stops sales success across organizations. Number 2, focus on system-wide optimization over headcount growth. That means smart CEOs are shifting their strategy to reduce sales friction rather than simply increasing team size to drive better results. Number 3, utilize advanced diagnostics like my zero friction profit scan. Tools such as the zero friction profit scan can help identify and uncover invisible process leaks that reduce sales efficiency and profitability. Number 4, implement friction KPIs for data-driven leadership. Data-driven executives demand specific friction-related KPIs to accurately guide strategic decisions and improve sales performance. And finally, shift your leadership mindset from quotas to friction reduction. Because the leadership challenge today is to move focus away from traditional sales quotas towards systematically reducing friction for sustainable growth. Because remember, every problem you're facing in your business right now is a friction problem. That's why you need a zero friction solution. That's why we start with the zero friction profit scan. Okay, so let's look at zero friction selling. This is my process, my framework, my method that we call zero friction selling. because it accelerates sales flow and revenue growth. All right, so there's 5 elements here. First, accelerated decision making. Why? Because decisions move faster, reducing timelines from weeks to days, speeding up sales cycles. Number 2, sharp, conviction-driven messaging. Messaging becomes clear and persuasive, enhancing communication effectiveness. Number 3, sales reps focus on selling. What a concept, right? That means your reps are going to spend more time selling rather than chasing leads, which of course will improve productivity and profitability. Fourth, marketing warms your buyers, right? So we're going to move away from vanilla marketing, boring, bland marketing, to new, improved marketing. And that will prepare and nurture buyers, making sales a confirmation step rather than trying to persuade people. And finally, friction elimination drives growth because removing friction enables smooth funnel growth, revenue growth, and a thriving sales team. If you think about friction as the foot on the brake, just like you're driving in your car, the foot on the gas accelerates. Every CEO, every founder, every entrepreneur wants to accelerate growth, revenues, profitability. Of course you do. But meanwhile, you've got all of this friction, which is in fact your foot on the brake, and you don't even realize it's there. That's what this represents. Next, key performance metrics to track friction impact. All right, so let's look at the metric and the description. The first metric you need to start tracking is decision cycle time. That means the average days to internal approvals. Is it days or is it weeks? If it's weeks, we have a problem. Number 2, the second metric is lead conversion rate. That means the percentage of leads converted to qualified opportunities. Next, seller utilization. That's the percentage of rep time spent on actual selling versus admin and meetings. Are you utilizing your sales reps properly? What percentage of time, their time, is being wasted in these meetings? And finally, lead drop rate, the percentage of leads lost during handoffs. All right, those are 4 key metrics you've got to start to measure right now if you want to start to remove the hidden friction. All right, so let's implement the zero friction profit scan. It's a 6-step process. Number 1, we conduct the zero friction profit scan. We perform a comprehensive scan to identify friction points impacting profitability and sales flow. Then we're going to use data-driven KPIs that I was just talking about to prioritize friction issues and track improvements with measurable key performance indicators. Next, we align marketing, sales, and leadership. We're going to establish shared goals across your teams to collaboratively reduce friction in the sales process. Then streamline approvals. We're going to reduce decision time by simplifying and accelerating approval workflows. Then we're going to clarify messaging. So that will enhance buyer understanding to accelerate conversions through clear and consistent communication. And finally, minimize meetings and improve handoffs. We're going to cut unnecessary meetings and optimize transition processes between teams to maintain and improve momentum. All right, so these are the 6 areas of the zero friction profit scan that we're going to implement for your business to remove the hidden friction. All right, so where do we start? Well, it's very simple. You start right here. It's called zerofrictionceo.com because this is a free audit. All right, it'll take you 3 minutes. There's 14 questions, and it's called the Zero Friction Gap Audit Now. And go to zerofrictionceo.com right now and get your 3-minute zero friction gap audit. Why? Because every business problem you're facing right now is a friction problem. That's why you need a zero friction solution. So the first step is the free zero friction gap audit. And then after that, we take a deep dive using the zero friction profit scan. So the audit is like going to the doctor and seeing what's wrong, right? If things aren't quite feeling right, you go to the doctor. But then the doctor might say, you know what, you're going to need a specialist. And what the profit scan, the zero friction profit scan, is like a CAT scan for your business brain. So first you go to the general practitioner, that's the gap audit, and then you go and get your CAT scan. That's the zero friction profit scan. And if we can't find at least $100,000 where you're leaking profit, your profit scan is free. All right, so go here right now to zerofrictionceo.com because every problem you're facing right now in your business is a friction problem. That's why you need a zero friction solution. For everyone here at booknoah.com, I'm Dr. Noah St. John, and I look forward to being a part of your success story. See you next time.